Welcome to Tune Up. I'm your host, Joe Chap, and today we'll be talking about Zion Williamson to the Pistons, and people are talking about it, and it was in a trade article on ESPN. And when you look at the facts, yes, Zion is a great player. There's no doubt about it. When you look at the fact of the matter that he was on a team that was actually pretty good in New Orleans, he was dunking before a playoff game, and he didn't even show up to the playoff game as a player. It leaves me wondering. And I'm going to look at this from two standpoints. I'm going to look at this as a fan, and look at this as from Troy Weaver's point of view or Monty Williams' point of view. Because when you look at this as a fan, you're like, okay, Zion Williamson, I'll trade Jaden Ivey tomorrow, right? You just want this team to get better in a hurry. And if you're going from the Troy Weaver standpoint, you're looking at it like this. We are nowhere near a finished product. No matter if we had Zion right now or we stick to playing with Jaden, Jalen, and Cade. And then you look at the the fact is when you bring in Zion, if you were to bring in Zion, you look at the fact of the matter is you're not a finished product. The team in New Orleans is better than Detroit right now, and he didn't even want to play for them. So what it says to me, and I could be totally wrong, but if you're a fan, you would love the move because of the excitement it would bring to the franchise and the flashy objects. But then there's a part of you where I know there's a part in every person's uh, mind that if you traded for Zion tomorrow and Zion came here, it'd be a total failure. A total failure. That's what everyone thinks. Now, Troy Weaver has more connections to the game, obviously. He knows much more than any of us. This is not a decision that you can make lightly because of the player who it is. And I gotta imagine that every team in the NBA is like, look, if we have a chance to get Zion Williamson, do we do it? Because they're going to be asking for a good haul from New Orleans because they don't have to get rid of him. But would it make sense if Charlotte called up or someone called up and said, "I'll give you a top 4 pick, and you can go get your guy"? This is it's a total conundrum because obviously you would love to have Zion Williamson, but at the same time, is Zion Williamson worth it to make a colossal mistake? I don't know the answer. I can only give you my opinion. I obviously was looking at it from both sides, but if it was me, that was the general manager of the Detroit Pistons, I would not bring in Zion Williamson at all. I have worries about his commitment to the game with staying in shape. I have worries about him being a competitive player. I have worries that he is going to make the wrong decisions. And if I'm the general manager and I trade for this guy and I give up Jaden Ivey in the fifth overall pick, and it just bombs, and Jaden Ivey becomes an all star, my job's done. Now you can say that about any player, but when there's multiple red flags, as red as my shirt, you kind of can't make that deal. You just can't. Zion could bring a lot of excitement to this team if he plays. And the problem is, does he play? That's the question that people have to answer. And when you look at Zion Williamson, he's a fantastic player. I know. Okay. I was excited when he came in, but that draft as Zion and Ja came out, that is looking like the ultimate, like, whoa. Like, we both thought they were going to be great. I don't think we went into their mental headspace because if we went back in time and saw all the red flags that we see now, I don't think neither one of them go 1-2, to be honest. I think that if you're the New Orleans Pelicans, you are kind of regretting the decision because you thought Zion was going to be great. You thought Zion was going to be absolutely phenomenal, and he hasn't. And if you're the Grizzlies with John Morant, he's obviously gave you a lot of excitement to the franchise. He's brought the franchise back. Ultimately, he's a head case. He gets himself in trouble. You know, he doesn't think before he does. It's just, as a fan, I would love to see Zion Williamson here. But part of me says, like, okay, it could bomb really quickly, and this franchise is going to be devastated because you really don't get over that. In the NBA, it works like this: you get 4 years at maximum to rebuild your franchise, and if you don't do it and you don't make some big progress, you put yourself behind you put yourself behind. Look, it's a very tough decision. And I think what the Detroit Pistons have is good enough to win. Now they have to get some pieces to build on it, but ultimately, Zion isn't going to come in here and make this team an ultimate. You know, isn't going to make them a championship contender right now. It's just the reality. They are not. They're nowhere near a finished product. And if you could talk about the potential of Zion Williamson, and when he plays, he's great. You could also talk about the potential that when he comes, if he came to Detroit and he didn't play because he was consistently hurt or something was wrong, it could end up like Ben Simmons with the Brooklyn Nets. And that's not anywhere you want to be in the NBA. So, would I go after Zion Williamson? No, I wouldn't. I don't think it's worth the risk. I mean, obviously, you think about it, he's a good player. But ultimately, his mental and competitive spirit is what I worry about. Because if you can't keep yourself in shape as a pro athlete, if you can't make the right decisions as a pro athlete, I got a lot of questions. And you look at Cade, and you look at Jaden, and you look at Jalen, and they do everything the right way. And I think that's how you build your team as a young organization. What do you think? Let me know below in the comments, and I'll respond accordingly to your comments. So this is the Between the Whistles Detroit. I'm Joe Chap, and I will see you in the next video.